with Van Nistelrooy, for example, let's say he wasn't brought in under the terms he's currently being brought in, and he was brought in as an interim manager.
Mm.
The club said they want to look for other management and eventually change his position to something in the background. I think the fans would accept that more than we're going to stick with Ten Hag.
No, no, but they would because Van Nistelrooy is a club legend, isn't he?
He's a club legend.
Mm.
Also, it's the circumstances under which he's brought in. So
Mm.
with Ragnick, like I was saying, he was backroom staff. Then you just brought him downstairs because you couldn't find anyone else. Whereas if you were upfront with the fan base and you told them, looking at the managerial options, we weren't happy what was out there, so we decided to wait for our target next season, for example. If
Mm.
they at least explain that, because it's not like the Man United fan base assume that they're going to win the Premier League title next season.
It's true, we don't, but it's a
So Lens,
slippery
Lens,
slope, man.
what are you saying then? Are you saying that they've kept this guy because they really like him? Is that what you think?
I personally think this is what I honestly think. I think Dutch managers get a
Mm.
hard time of it in the English press. So we automatically go with the idea that unless they have the whole team trained under the Dutch style for 15, 20 years
Yeah.
of their playing career, that they can't do it in England. I think it can be done in England because most of the managerial concepts have already been brought over into the league. Yeah, whether it's a formation style, whether it's the way that you build up in general. Because if you was to look at slat style and build up, it's not too dissimilar to Arsenal style. There are ways of making it work within the league.
Mm.
So I think there must be some aspect of him as a coach that they believe in enough to put money behind him. Because if they're looking at, if they don't sign anybody, then I take back what I said. But if
Mm.
they sign anybody, they have a picture of like an idea of where they want to take the club. So they have a style of football in mind to say that even if you took Ten Hag out, if he didn't work, and you brought in what's the guy's name from Sporting? Forgot his name.
Oh, Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, if you brought in Amarin, for
Mm.
example, next season because you're in a better position,
Yeah.
whatever. If you sign players and coach the team in a particular way, so the transition wasn't too, grandiose, wasn't too big, then it would make sense. Basically, you could see the logic behind it. So that's why I'm saying. Just because he's not like the favored manager, let's say, you know how he handled the Sancho situation, everything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, he's a bit of a jerk. But he was trying to be Mr. Hardcore Man United, Alex
Mm.
Ferguson, throwing hair dryers and whatnot. Um,
He tried to
he
with
tried it.
Sancho. He tried to do the whole "I'm in charge," but without
Yeah.
having the credentials of a top manager. That's basically what he tried to do.
I don't even think it was the credentials of a top manager. I just think he didn't back up the things he said. So let's
yeah, it's
say, for
true.
example, that he was having success on the pitch.
Mm.
We all know Sancho couldn't say anything about that then. Because he has to look at it like, look, what he's saying is working. If I'm not doing what he's saying
Yeah.
and it's not working, yeah,
And
but
cool.
he's successful, but I'm not getting in there. Something I'm doing is wrong. So maybe he'd have a moment to talk to himself. But if you're failing on the pitch
Mm.
and off the pitch, and then you're calling him out in the media, it's just the way he handled the situation. Let's say Man United signed someone to handle the players specifically, and he handled the coaching, the training, the on the pitch stuff, the on the training stuff. That would make sense for his personality type.
Yeah. No,
That's a different.
I mean,
That's a very different way of looking at things.
yeah.
But maybe that's probably why you got Jason Wilcox to
Mm,
probably
To be
the
the
chat to
to be the go to be the in between man in a sense. Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
like
Mm.
because he knows Sancho in and out.
Yeah.
And from what I heard of when Sancho was training with the under 18s, he was exceptional. He was professional. He was there.
Mm.
I don't know about his timekeeping, but they were just saying that he actually trained like he was training with the first team.
yeah,
So it is beggars belief of what Ten Hag said because, like you said, there was no proof to really back it up. And then once this story came out, oh yeah, he's not apologizing. The media ran with it, and all of a sudden, that's why Pep got rid of him. Oh, there were problems at Borussia Dortmund with him being late, but then he went to Borussia Dortmund. Did we hear about him being late once?
Not
Did we
once.
hear about him being lazy once in training? No. The only thing that they said was naturally he's not played any games, so he's not up to speed. And once he got up to speed, he looked a better player. He looked like the player that we knew that he would be. And there were obviously glimpses throughout the seasons where he was good, but you got to look into this this as well. We had what 3 different managers when he came.
Yeah.
Under Ollie, he didn't get a pre-season when he signed, and then he's got to slowly integrate him into the team. Then, when he was starting to get into the team, bad things were happening with Ollie. So then Ollie got sacked. Then now you got Ralph Ragnick. Now you got to train a new style. And now he's got to understand what he's doing in that formation and how Ragnick wants him to play.
Yeah.
Ragnick already said he's a good player. He's exceptional. Once he got games, I remember the Leeds game, on fire. Everton, on fire. And there's a few others, Burnley, on fire as well. And then now you got Erik ten Hag, new manager. You're bringing him in and out of the team. Yeah, he suffered with mental health from the Euros and obviously from like people passing in his life. He lost his nan and he lost somebody else.
Yeah.
So naturally his head's not going to be in football. So, and now everyone's jumping on that bad boy as an excuse of saying, oh yeah, but Erik ten Hag gave him such and such amount time off, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. That's natural. That's something that you're supposed to do. And then he comes back 2 games in, he scores, and he's still good. And then you take him out of the team for Anthony, who does what? Nothing.
That's what I think the issue was at Anthony. I think that's
100%.
the hill he was dying on, and that geezer hasn't done anything for Brazil or Man United, really. I don't understand the hype.
No, neither do I anymore.
Since he's left Ajax, we all talk about system players or they can't cut it in bigger leagues. I don't know what it is about him because he looked silky. He was good in the Champions League. He looked like a good buy. But then he came into Man United, and I think he went the same way a lot of other players have gone. Now, my only concern with Ten Hag is I don't like. No, if it's gonna sound horrible for me to say, but if I was a Man United fan, I would only be concerned that he wasn't like having a Southgate effect on players. Because half of the players you've brought players that other people wanted or other people deemed as being good. Yeah. So if you look at Sancho or you look at whatever player across your front line or whatever position, most people would say, okay, they're good on paper. Just like the England side, if you look at England's team is amazing on paper. You got literally world-class players and clutch players all over the gaff. But
how does it translate? We're going to get into that very soon.
Yeah. So, so back to Man United. I don't agree with that. Okay, hold on. So if you go back to Man United here and you look at the effect that certain managers are able to have, some of them are able to have really good seasons like Mourinho did. But he's a really good manager dealing with a bunch of basically players that were too soft for him. Like it wasn't a good match. But then if you look at the other managers you've had since then, a lot of them have had a Southgate effect where some of them are actually good players or they're definitely better than they've been performing because you can see it in certain matches, but they just don't fit into whatever system idea. It's not communicated well. It's not agreed upon. It's like if you don't trust your boss or something like that, it's just not working out. So that's what I think the issue for Man United is he a bad coach? So long as he's not a bad coach, you guys will be all right in your whole rebuild. He's still in a rebuild, and we'll probably move on from him to someone else in a season or two. But so long as he's a good coach, it'll be okay. But if he's like some other people, it is what it is.
You know what I would say, in terms of what you just said about is he a good coach? Yeah. For me, no. I think the biggest problem with Ten Hag is that I can't see one player that he's made better. I think the only person you could probably say that is probably improved, and that was Dallo. I think
he did that on his own.
That's improved. I think the likes of Kobbie's just a good player anyway. So Ten Hag's coaching, if there is any, won't improve Kobbie Mainoo. Kobbie Mainoo is going to be good in his own right because
I'd actually think he'd be better if he was somewhere else.
Yeah, no. I believe if Kobbie was playing in let's say Kobbie's at a Man City.
Let's not even say the Premier League. Let's say it was in Germany.
In Germany, yeah. But I'm just saying if we're talking Premier League, for instance, if he's at a Man City, he's already one of the best players in the league at Man City just because of the way Man City play.
You think he'd get in at Man City though?
Right,
No.
right now, I'd have him in there. Yeah, I'd have
I
him
don't think I don't
alongside
think
Rodri.
I think Pep would be good for him, but I do not see Pep starting him.
No way. I can't see that
Well, the
happening
thing
ever.
is, obviously, because if you look at what Pep done with Foden, he's Foden into the team. So I think Kobbie Mainoo would have the same kind of pathway. But is he good enough to play for Man City and be in their lineup? 100%, he is. And that's what I'm trying to say to you. With Ten Hag, he's not a good coach for me. And the biggest problem for me with Ten Hag is that his player identification and in who he thinks is a good player
Yeah.
is off.
All
Like
right.
the guy is absolutely clueless.
I get that part, but I need to go back to the Pep thing. So, what would you say is like Kobe's like best attributes?
His composure on the ball.
His composure on the ball,
Yeah.
are his standout moments.
I think he's
No, no,
strong
no.
as
I'll
well.
just forget the moments because any player can have moments,
Yeah,
really.
but he's young though. That's what
Yeah.
young players have, are moments.
Right. So the reason I'm saying is composure on the ball because someone of his age shouldn't be having that kind of composure because you as naturally as it goes on, you'll be learning that when you get more experience in the game. The fact of the matter is he's got such composure at a young age, which already shows me his football IQ and why he's going to be a top player. We look at Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal's 16. Look at his football IQ compared to other players that are older than him playing in the same position. And if you've got a football IQ, you are going to be a top player. Because the only thing for someone like Lamine Yamal that's missing is you probably say numbers, yeah? And obviously experience. But already, Lamine Yamal is world class because of what he can do, yeah? Now, just going back to Ten Hag as well, yeah, his player identification is shocking because you guys have probably heard me say it before.